Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live, and today we have a special guest. She is out there, she adventures, and she does it in her ambulance. Her name is Paula, and we are going to bring her up and have a nice little chat with her. Hello there, Paula.
Hi, how are you? That intro, Daryl. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow, that is so exciting.
We're going to be doing a few changes. I'm changing our intro. I'm changing kind of the way we film stuff and kind of the format. So
It was
getting a bit more epic.
Very epic. Very
I got
epic.
a few tweaks to do to it, but I didn't have enough time. So
see, I wish I could do stuff like that.
It's fun. Like I like being creative. I haven't done a lot of that except for, designing construction stuff. So getting back into some of the design is kind of fun. So
awesome.
But yeah. So we're going to get into this because I know we're limited on time and you're going to go live after us as well. Correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we will raid you from your interview here.
That sounds like fun to me.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start this off. I've got a pile of questions.
I know. It makes me nervous. I'm so used to being on the other side of the live stream interview.
Hey, it helps people to get to know you in a different way. And that's what we're kind of trying to do.
Okay, well, don't be too tough on me, buddy. Remember, we are friends.
Okay, so I know besides YouTube, you have a job, but if you weren't doing YouTube, what else would you be doing?
Like in my spare time?
Yeah. Because this becomes like a hobby.
Yeah.
Some cases more.
And it's a hobby that's taken a lot of my time. I don't watch television anymore, so I probably watch a little bit of TV and reading and, maybe doing some more workout in the garage and in the ambulance. Yeah.
What other vloggers have influenced you?
Now you're talking about people that are on YouTube or people that live stream or...
Yeah, for YouTube.
The first ones I really religiously followed was Trent and Alley and the Nomadic Movement. They really caught my attention when they were traveling, and I watched them go all through Mexico, all the way down to Panama, shipping it across. I mean, that excited me. That really excited me, and I found them pretty down to earth and really good at what they do. And I think honestly those two channels were key for me.
Nice. So with all your stuff that you've put out, all your videos and stuff, what's the one comment out of all those that really stands out to you?
Oh my goodness, couldn't I have had these questions in advance? The one comment that really stands out to me. Well, I've only ever had one negative comment, and that was just, I better be careful or I'm going to end up, alone with a bunch of cats, they said. And that's the most negative thing I've come across. So that's actually pretty good.
You don't like cats, do you?
Pardon?
You don't like cats, do you? Yeah,
no,
exactly.
My son's allergic. But I don't know, like the comments that, well, first of all, any comment so wonderful because someone took the time to leave it for me. And a lot of people have been really inspiring and encouraging. And that's really helped me push forward and do more.
So what is one event in your life that's really inspired you?
An event in my life that inspired me. It sounds so stupid. My convocation from university. I put that robe, and I was in my early 30s when I finished university. I went back when my son was only 10 months old. So he was an infant, early, young child throughout my 4 years of education. And, as a single parent and full-time school and raising a son on my own, there's lots of ups and downs, more rewards than anything. But when I finally finished and I put that gown on, ready to walk onto the stage to get my diploma, I just it's like in the movies, like you get a flash of all these things in your life, and a flash of all the good and bad. And I was like, I really did this. I was so afraid, but I did it. It was the biggest success that I ever had. And then I realized, you know what? Things are hard in life,
Yep.
but if it's worth it, you just keep going.
No, exactly. So this question was asked by Kathleen. What made you choose an ambulance?
Oh, just random. I went with my brother and his girlfriend to go look at a camper van. And I was really disappointed with the camper van and the price that they wanted. And so we were going into the next big city, and they were like, well, look up some more stuff. Maybe we'll see something here. And I saw an ambulance posted. I said, you know what, for shits and giggles, let's go. Let's check it out. And as soon as I went in there, I looked at my brother and he looked at me, and we both knew that, like, we didn't even talk. We just knew that that was for me. It was awesome. So much stuff was already done in it.
Yeah.
And the size of it, and then what I spent, like, it just, everything fell together. I was lucky.
So when you started out, were you embarrassed to tell people what you did?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, now that I really think about it, I really was. Even now, if I have to call a mechanic or something, I'd be like, so, I have an ambulance, and then I go through the whole story of why I bought an ambulance, because I feel like it justifies me looking crazy. Yeah.
So if you were to look back at your videos, what would one thing, you can call it a falsehood or misunderstanding or lack of knowledge, whatever it might be, but looking back in your videos, something that you feel that wasn't correct that now you feel you actually know better on?
Oh gosh, all sorts of stuff, Daryl. You know, it's amazing the things that you learn hands-on, and it doesn't matter how much research you do, different things come up. So the first big thing was securing my solar panels to my roof, and it just made me nauseous to drill into the roof. And I had to order through Amazon to get the correct Z clips that I wanted. Couldn't find anything I wanted locally. I put it all on, went on a little road trip. 3 out of the 4 came loose. And I mean, I had it tightened that it left marks right into the metal. And like, I came this close to losing my solar panels. But what have I learned in the meantime? Nylock nuts, right? That's resolved my problem. So that could have been a huge problem that could happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I overcame it. And, you know, silly things like, I used an old dresser initially. I cut a big space open, and I tried to upcycle stuff a lot. I tried using a dresser, and it just didn't work for me. So now I have stuff that has actual slides for the drawers. You know, I don't spend a lot of money, Daryl, on anything that I do in it, so that I have a lot of room to keep changing as I go along.
Interesting. So I remember seeing in on your channel, and also seeing in some of your intro videos, different places like Mexico and things like that. So what is one of the best vacations you ever took?
Costa Rica. Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was in the Dominican for my 40th birthday, but the trip to Costa Rica and Nicaragua was absolutely amazing. I had booked a 7-day tour, and we had our English and Spanish speaking guides. We were on an air conditioned bus. They unloaded our stuff at our places every day. All the activities were included. All the hotels were included in breakfasts. And so I got to do whitewater rafting and horseback riding up a mountain and zip lining over the jungle, bathing in a volcanic mud bath. Like, it was fantastic. And then I actually knew someone that was out there for the winter. So I stayed an extra 3 days after that 7, and just chilled and relaxed, and went to the grocery store and a little more of the local kind of stuff. So I don't know. It was awesome. It was more real than the first trip I ever had, which was Hawaii. The Costa Rica trip, I got to see a little more of the real world. I know I was still very sheltered, but it just drew me right in.
So if you could be someone else for a day, who would that be and why?
I don't know if I'd want to be anybody else. Do I have to come up with someone? I mean, I actually really like the person that I am. I mean, there's things about myself I'd like to adjust.
I think
But
that's common for
I don't
everybody.
think I'd want to be anyone else. I
So
can't be anything but me.
okay, fair enough. So saying that, who is your favorite YouTuber then?
Trent and Allie and Kaylee and Adam. Yeah, those are the key ones that I watch. I really don't watch anything on YouTube outside of the van life nomadic kind of community, other than David Dobrik. Actually, maybe that one, because my son and I watch it together. He is hilarious, and we just laugh so hard. So yeah, that's another one.
So I've referred to you many times as the queen of StreamYard and stuff like that. And you seem to know your way around. So you might not feel this way, but when did you realize that you have made an impression on other people?
Oh, right now? I don't know. Have I made an impression on people?
You have.
I don't know. I feel like, if anything, a lot of who I am, I kept back. And I think the longer that I do it, I feel more comfortable. The more of me I let out. I'm always me, but I'm much more relaxed now. And I joke and I can be silly. And I'm not so worried as much of embarrassing myself as I first did. And at the beginning, I was really worried that I was going to embarrass my son and the rest of my family. But no. And yeah, they all have my back. So I feel like I feel safe. I feel more comfortable. I don't express a whole lot of opinions in my live streams. I try not to be political or hit any of the hard topics too much. But then at the same time, Daryl, I'm not one of those extreme kind of people. I'm one of those people that likes to see both sides of the coin. And actually, sometimes there could be, dozens of sides to a topic. And I just try to look at it from a variety of different sides. So it's not that I'm wishy-washy by any means, but I try to keep my mind open. So then whatever situation I particularly have, I might be a little more relaxed in my judgment.
So looking back, as you were saying, if you were to do, we kind of covered this before, but if you were to do anything differently, what would that be?
Differently
on just like your whole channel, life, anything. Just if there's anything you could do differently, what would that be?
I would have started traveling when I was younger, before I became a mom. I was very afraid, Daryl, very afraid to do anything, to try anything. I mean, I would work 3 jobs because I was afraid to let the first 2 go. Right? Like, I just lived in a world of fear, and I really wished I would have got past that sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I didn't believe in myself. So I worked very low paying jobs. That's why I had to work so many. And now I believe in myself. So I think that would have changed everything. I mean, I still have my son. I still would have got an education, but I think I would have traveled a lot, taken a chance, maybe been an au pair in Europe, or, just something random that I'm afraid to do now. I'm still pushing through it, afraid to do now because of my responsibilities and now the debt that I have, and, thinking about retirement. If you do stuff in your 20s, I think the world's your oyster.
Interesting. So
I feel like you're analyzing me. I feel like this is a counseling session. You're like, interesting. Interesting.
No, because that kind of leads me into if you were to give, for instance, someone that's just getting started in YouTube, what advice would you give that person?
To invest in themselves. Absolutely. Invest in yourself. If this is what you want to do, invest in you. I didn't do it. I started with the cheapest of everything, missing a lot of stuff I needed. In the end, am I still where I wanted to be? Absolutely. So I just think maybe a person would have had a little more confidence if they had some of the gear or learned more about editing before they started or whatever. But I think you just have to start. They just have to start where they are. They will learn, they will improve, and you can always redo stuff.
I agree with you on that. I think that when you're starting, you're green. You don't know anything. You're learning. You're watching people.
You don't even know what you don't know.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I think, like you said, it's important to invest in good equipment because you get a better outcome.
I'm used to being cheap, right? And especially when it comes to me, even with my clothes, I will buy my son clothes that are way more expensive than I would ever think of for myself. I don't know, but I'm learning. I'm learning it's okay to spend money on myself.
So, what's your favorite thing about what you are doing?
Oh, everybody. I mean, like, I am meeting the most amazing people and they're so awesome and we have similar interests. And, you know, all my channel growth has been during the pandemic and I am not alone. Right. And so maybe if someone else is lonely, we can hang out on a live stream. Nobody has to be alone. And I think that's awesome.
Well, I think it's creating this community too, right? I mean, each person, whether you're a nomad, whether you're a van lifer, whether you're an off-roader, whatever you are, I think coming together in a certain way is what's important. We might not all do the same thing. We might not all agree eye to eye. We might not all believe the same thing. But to the core of it, we still have that understanding. I think that's important. Where am I here now? What's one of the least favorite things about doing your YouTube channel?
I'd say editing, but my editing would be better if I had good footage. I forget to film, Daryl. Like I'll be out doing something and go, oh, I should have recorded that, or I should have this, or I should have, you know. I think if I had tons of B-roll, it would help me be better at editing. I mean, I finally invested in an editing program and, you know, I've been playing around with a bit. It's kind of being self-taught, but I really feel like if I had a lot more stuff recorded, that would really help make the difference.
Oh, exactly. Like, I mean, I bought an editing program that now, I mean, it was fine when I started, but now it just doesn't really do what I need it to do. It's cumbersome. It's slow. It doesn't get what I get. So yeah, same thing. You upgrade yourself and get better equipment to do it properly.
Well, and here's going back to investing in yourself. I was making my thumbnails in 3D paint. Do you know how limited that is? And now I just spent a little bit of money on a program that helps me make better thumbnails. I just didn't commit right away. So, but it's okay. I'm going back and I'm redoing thumbnails. It's good practice. So as I'm redoing them, I'll be better for the new ones that are coming out.
Yeah, no, you learn from that. And I've done the same thing. I went back and edited some of my thumbnails. And then you see how your viewership will jump because there's something different there.
I actually went in yesterday and today, Daryl, and I took a lot of my old live streams down. I didn't take them down. What I did is I put them into a members only category at the highest level, which no one is at right now, because I think that was the only way I could do it without losing watch hours. But I need to re-edit a bunch of them. and bring them down a lot if I hope to get any rewatches out of them. So some stuff I've made some modifications. I'm keeping them up experimentally. But yeah, I took a lot down because I feel like if they're not being watched, it's just bringing down my stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, one thing that I have on my phone is, which I really like, is the TubeBuddy. And if you watch, you can see, like, you see your numbers going up. You see what people have viewed. You see all the different comments. So we'll highlight things. So it brings your attention to that.
I have that. But, again, that's another one of those things that costs money. You pay for TubeBuddy. I have Snappa. I have my Filmora Wondershare for editing. I now have a webcam and my laptop and my microphone. Well, my microphone is a gift, but you know what I mean? Like it seems to be never ending that way instead of spending the money on my ambulance and going anywhere. But I can justify it because I am worth it. and it's for something that I'm enjoying.
This one's a longer one. Why do you think it's worth it to go into online videos with all the people already doing it? So
that wasn't even a consideration at all, Daryl. When I started this, I didn't think anyone was going to watch it except for me and family. It was to document my journey, learning about everything with the ambulance. That's initially what I started. I never, to be monetized, I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know how anyone made money. None of that even crossed my mind. It was just a really good way to store some videos I made that I can look back and show my grandkids.
No, exactly. It's a great place to store your memories. I mean, I kind of realized that when I did the video that just came out. It was with my dad doing that interview. I'm going, I'm preserving something that, God forbid, when it happens, that I've got those memories there. And I wish I had that of my mom. And yeah.
Well, a lot of it for me, Daryl, is I tend to forget a lot. And there's a lot of stroke risk in our family. And, if I start forgetting even, I'll get to watch it. And it's a good reminder of who I am and how far I've come.
No, I agree. And you can see your growth as well, which I think is really cool. Like when you sit there and watch people's YouTube channels and you watch when they started and to where they are now, you see that growth. And I
hope so.
It's neat to see whether it's growth as in how their channel grows and the quality it grows, or the hair that they had and now they don't have, or the color of their hair to the color it is now. You see the changes, and it's actually kind of entertaining too, to a point. Have you ever had any setbacks? And if so, what were they?
Setbacks in life or on the YouTube channel or?
With your ambulance.
With ambulance? Setbacks.
We'll start with that.
Just really killing my battery twice. I did have a breakdown on the side of the highway once. It was an oil coolant hose that blew, which unfortunately in my motor is right in the middle of this big E450 diesel engine. And so I had to constantly keep adding water to my antifreeze and limping along till I could get to a station that could fix it. And then they couldn't. And they misdiagnosed what the problem was. And so then I had to go through that whole process of limping along because I couldn't call CAA because my engine is too big for them to cover.
Yes.
So, I mean, that did frustrate me. And then the end of that weekend is when my solar panels wanted to fly off. And I was like, that's it. I quit. I don't know what possessed me. Oh, yeah. I was so ready to throw in the towel. I was like, this is just going to suck all my money away. But my mom was with me. And she's like, no, this is your dream. This is what you want. You know what you have to do. Okay, you're right. And I'm so glad that she's there to tell me that. Remind me, right? Bring it back in. We all lose perspective sometimes, but that's why it's important to have people that believe in us and keep them close.
Oh, it is. And you kind of touched on that too. Having a bit of knowledge, like I did the same thing, BCAA. Like I bought it from my company, and because I have a cube van that always seems to break down. Oh, no, that doesn't cover that. Well, that's kind of why I bought it. But no, they won't touch it. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. But so since we covered the YouTube side, now in life, what setbacks have you had that have made you become the person you are now?
Wow. How can I be superficial and answer this question is what I'm thinking right now. Growing up wasn't easy. I got out of there as soon as I could. I worked really hard. I worked my way up into management with 7-Eleven, and I managed my own store. I've had a couple different ones. Again, not believing in myself to get even better of a job, but I worked really hard at that. But then I had a sister pass away, and I legit lost my marbles. Like I just didn't know how to process it, and found out that I was expecting my son all within the same month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that set me back. So my brand new car, I just gave it back to the man. I wasn't even thinking, I didn't think to just sell it. Right. Like I wasn't thinking at all. And all my support people were hurting too. So I had to start all over. And I was starting all over with the responsibility of a child and living on like 20% of the income for 4 years of what I had. And it changed me a lot. I stuck with it. And then, I hit that convocation day, like I said, and I was like, you know what? I can do anything. I really can do anything. And there is no one that has any control over me in my life anymore. I am responsible for myself and all of my decision making. So if I don't like something, I need to take the action to do something different. And I really learned that. And I think if I had the option, Daryl, of going back and changing anything in my life, I wouldn't, because everything is for a reason. All of us are here for a reason, for a purpose. I can't change anyone else's reasons and purposes. I just need to focus and keep going with what mine is.
And I think Karen said that just perfectly there.
Thank you.
And I know
it's gonna make me cry. I'm reading the comments.
I know what you mean. Because for me, I remember the hardest day of my life, which sounds kind of weird, but was my wedding.
Really?
My mom had cancer, and
sorry.
She couldn't stay for the whole thing. And I remember my speech, and I remember breaking down, just knowing that, you know what, she wasn't going to be around much longer. And my wedding day was the happiest day of my life, but the saddest day of my life at the same time. And it was about 9 months later that she did pass. She never did get to see Cayden, and that reminds me of what a friend of mine told me a long time ago when her mom passed, that she would never be able to go to her mom, ask for that advice and things like that. And it always stuck in my head. And then when it happened to me, I was like, yep, I know what you mean. And it changed me. Like it honestly changed the way I saw things and the way I did things in life. And
you know what, Daryl? I think God doesn't leave us hanging. I think when we lose someone, God helps us find someone else. It's important. Like even with Badge in my life, Badge has really filled a role in my life that I really needed. And the only way I can explain how he's come into my life is God brought him into my life when I needed him enough.
When one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I mean, you talk about God here, and like I grew up in the church. And when I graduated, I was party, hung out with Chrome and drinking and all that stuff. And
most of us did that.
I after my mom passed, I mean, the stuff that she told me, she like on her bed, she's like, she's sitting there barely able to breathe. And I said to her, Mom, you need to let go. And she's like, no, I worry about you and your dad. And I said, don't. I said, you need to focus on yourself and what's best for you. And that always stuck with me. And when Cayden was born, I knew there was something missing in my life. And that's when I started going back to church. And I think it was really important for me because it helped me to ground myself a bit more, to not be so conceited, to open my eyes a bit more, and to be thankful for everything that I had. And it's yeah. And Cayden's making a mess. But anyway, let's try to change this around to something a bit more happy, because we're both tearing up now.
Yeah, it's like, whew, some of the stuff you're saying is just hitting me right now. And I'm like, oh no. I don't know.
It's something I try not to dwell on because I will break down. And every time I start talking about it, I do start to tear up.
You know, I have days that are like that, and I have days that are good, Daryl. And I don't think it's ever wrong to share feelings and emotions. It's just a matter of finding a space that you feel safe to do it. That's all part of processing it.
Oh, it is. But the funny thing is, though, because my dad and I weren't really close growing up because he was always working. And that's one thing I always said, that I'm never going to do that for my son. So I've had that different relationship with Cayden, that I like to do stuff with him. And it's kind of reversed, where my wife, it doesn't have as much to do.
Oh, we see, all of us see how much time you spend with Cayden.
Yeah. And, I would do anything for him. And I wanted to, I think as each generation goes, we kind of we learn from our parents what not to do. And I think that's kind of what I figured out. Is like, I want to be that dad that he'll always, you're always going to remember, but I want to be that dad that's involved and in his life. Because who knows how long I have, but I want that memory to be solid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my.
And now you have it all recorded to boot.
Exactly. And I think that's special, right?
I don't think everything from our parents, not in my case anyways, is things that I want to do that I don't want to do. I think the biggest thing for me as a parent is I have conversations with my child ever since he was small enough. Since the time he was born, not even knowing if he's comprehending it. I explain things. I talk to him and I hug him every day. Yep. And I tell him that I love him every single day, because we never know what's going to happen. But with loss, the biggest gift, and there is gifts, believe it or not, but the biggest gift in losing those that we love, it shows us that life is short and it's precious and that we cannot waste it.
Yep.
It is a gift that we still have it, and we can't abuse it, and we have to actually get up and do something, take an action.
Yep.
Right? And that's what I'm doing.
Yep. No, I hear you. Like I've created a different relationship with my dad now. Like we're a lot closer. And I know that, I hate saying it, but I know he doesn't have much time left. Everything that's happening with him in his life. So for me to do this film with him was something extra special because of those memories. So we're creating a diary of our lives. Everybody's sharing in it, but that's kind of what we're doing.
And it's a journey, a journal of gratitude. Right? Because we're showing things that we love and that we enjoy. And by doing this whole YouTube adventure lifestyle, we are looking for those wonderful things that we want to share with others. I feel like it just helps me get unstuck. Right?
Yep. No, I totally agree. So you were talking about earlier about like the negative comments and stuff like that. Have you had any comments that are just, I know I have, I imagine most people have, but you had a comment that just, really bugged you. It was really nasty and just really irked you in a way.
No, I think we already covered it. It was just that person saying, I better be careful or I'll end up, living alone with a bunch of cats. That's the worst thing I've had, honestly. And I am so lucky. I do know that I'm lucky, and I know that will change. But, it's been a really good experience so far.
Well, and I mean, the difference is, I mean, because I kind of share part of my channel name with someone else, and he's got his loyal
Oh,
people. So then I get nasty comments because they don't understand what Van City means. I mean, it's short for
mhm.
Vancouver. So, and I've replied to some other people. It's like, well, like I don't see any issues with you telling other people, you know, you can't use the name van life, right? Because there's lots of van lifers out there. And you know
Yeah.
what? Great. But there's
But
so many
Vancouver
people out
is Van City. That's what we
there.
know it as.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's millions of people that call it that.
Yep. But there's a lot of people that don't understand that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm
um
wondering, what are they talking in the chat about the mule train? What is the mule train?
Ray did a video. I think it was
Oh,
today's
that's
video.
short.
Yeah,
Yes, sorry. That was
all the
great.
mules. That was actually
Yes,
quite interesting.
I was wondering, where did that even come from? I think they're trying to lighten the subject.
So how long does it usually take for you to put a video together?
I do more
Not your
live
shorts.
streams and videos, but for me, I mean, and I know I get from my brother a lot that I need to learn how to edit, and I'm working on it. But it takes me forever. One of my videos is like 6 hours of editing, and it just because I'm still learning. But it's just like the thumbnails used to take forever.
Like
Now that
that?
I have a program and I know what I'm trying to do, what my goals are for it, it's faster. So as I learn, it'll get easier.
No, and I think doing shorts, I think it helps us in some ways to kind of work on our editing skills, even though they're short. It's a way of learning and to start stretching those out to get longer as you figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I use Instagram for, is I create these little shorts. I don't do it for YouTube, but I do it for the Instagram, where you're just creating just these little things that just kind of motivate you and get people over to the channel.
Mm-hmm. You know, my brother made a comment, a video a week, and that would get you an hour a day or better, and it would get you better. But at the same time, I'm also working full time right now, right? I'm not traveling at the moment because of the pandemic. So material is limited. And plus, I do 3 live streams a week. It's hard to actually do anything outside of the house to
Well,
film, which I forget to do. I'm
yeah.
a work in progress.
If you're doing 3 live streams a week, that makes it really hard to sit there and try to do some van life or adventuring, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and get that edited as well. Like, it takes
Mhm.
time.
But one thing that's been really good about those live streams for me, Daryl, is I've developed a comfort level in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And I realize if I can go on a live stream where I can't necessarily control everything that's going on because it's live, I'm going to be that much more comfortable doing my videos now, and it'll be a lot more of the real, authentic Paula in them instead of that fearful person that just hides behind the camera. And I'm not skipping any lives, DJ.
I
I
was
like
reading
them.
that.
They keep me sane right now.
No, I think that the lies actually help you get rid of that, not a shyness, but help you overcome a lot of issues and give you more confidence,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
help build that self-esteem. I'm like, for example, I don't like I'm a shy person, and I
Mhm.
don't like. I'd rather film somebody else instead of filming myself. So to do that, I mean, that's why I started doing the lives, to try to help myself with gaining that extra confidence, and to stop myself from saying all the time. To sit
I'm
there and
like, awesome. Everything's awesome. I'm like, holy moly, what does the matter with
you
me?
notice it. And there's times I've actually edited it out because I'm like, it's driving me nuts. So
Yeah.
it's trying to think without putting those joining words in there,
Mhm.
like that. And so I'm very aware of it now. So
You
it
know,
makes,
when I did my how to start a campfire in the winter video, I edited out on my ums. I was like, wow. But we're all a work in progress. And so the minute you realize it and it clicks in your head, regardless of how many times someone else tells you, it has to click and resonate with yourself. Then you see it and then you can fix it. And everything you fix is a step towards greatness, right?
You get Bree here who's saying, plus lives are fun.
I have a ton of fun on live streams. Huh?
They're fun for her because she's watching.
So, I like being on them. I like doing lives.
If you've got something that's interesting and that is very involving for people, I think it adds to it and makes it a lot more intriguing and makes people want to stay around and watch as well and to learn. I think that's important. So when you're focusing in on your lives, do you plan them out a month ahead, a couple months ahead? Do you plan it out or you just wing it?
Well, combinations, Daryl. When I first started, I planned a few weeks in advance. And when I first started, I was doing 5 interviews a week. It was ridiculous. And then I learned very quickly that if you do it too much in the future, you plan too much ahead, a lot of the guests, because mine were all interviews and they're living the nomadic lifestyle, they don't always have service or things come up. So when something comes up, then I'm freestyling it. Mm-hmm. Right? So you just have to learn to be flexible. Each week I pretty much plan for myself. Saturdays and like tonight, the pop-up, not so much. It's a little more fun, but during the week I do interviews and then sometimes I'll bring a little bit of a topic in.
Well, that makes sense.
So, I mean, I do some planning, and if I have to make something for it, like for tomorrow's, I made a couple of kind of photo images that I want to share with one of the points that I want to make that I'm kind of putting out as a topic, right? So I have to prepare for that when I have a guest. So when Badge came up and had Jack Austin with them, and we did the canola oil conversion on the bus, I had to educate myself on that. I had to watch a bunch of videos. I had to learn it. I had to try to understand it to the best of my ability so that I could actually have a realistically interesting video.
Yeah, and it helps with your conversation too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, to know what to ask, to know what to do. I mean, it's just part of doing your research, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a lot of research. So, especially if I have someone, like most of the channels I initially had, Daryl, were people that I'd already been watching. But as you've kind of covered them, you're meeting new people, you're watching a lot of stuff to try to learn something about them and prepare for the interview.
Yeah, no,
it is a lot of work. It is.
It's you can put it to the point that, it's not really much different than a news anchor doing their research on their stories. Mm-hmm. The same kind of thing. Yeah. So you had mentioned, I think it was in your live with Badge, that you are looking, or Badge had said that he was going to gut the ambulance. So what are your future goals with the ambulance?
He means gut the electrical. I'm not gutting the ambulance. I like what I have done in there, and but there is a whole door and half a wall of it that is all ambulance wiring. And Badge is kind of taking that challenge on, and he's going to figure it out, and he's going to get it out of there. So then it's going to open space, and then that little section, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to redo, right? So
yeah, because
we're going to figure out when we, there's a couple things I'm going to tweak. I'm always tweaking stuff though for where to put the wood stove, but yeah, we're not gutting the entire thing.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff from your ambulance has been removed, so you've got a lot of useless stuff just sitting there.
Well, no, the stuff that I removed, Daryl, was
not just you.
The whole counter section in one shelf unit. So the whole counter section had not been used. It was just a great big space in there for, again, more electrical fuses and the shore power. So now I have shelving all along the bottom that I've put in there. So it keeps that weight lower as well. But all the top shelves, all that I've kept, the bench I've kept, my exterior cabinets are all shut off. Badge did it for me, cut through the metal to take that one corner out. And that material has been recycled into numerous different things. So there really hasn't been a whole lot of waste except for the cushions. I got rid of every single cushion. Even though they're materials, you should be able to sanitize. If there's even one hole poked in it, it's no longer sanitary. So that all went out because everything in there got sanitized before I started working in it.
Could have reupholstered them, but
got the ambo wiring. She'll gain 6 inches. I'm going to gain more than that where we take the big panel out. Off the roof, we're not going to gain a bunch because there's grading. So, like, it's very well framed, the box of the ambulance. Like, it can withstand a rollover, which doesn't matter to me because I'm going to be driving it. So it's not like I'm going to be in the back. But if a plow wind came through and took a tree down, I'm good.
So you're planning on doing that this summer, right?
Yeah, and putting the roof fan in and another vent in, some of the stuff to deal with the temperature in the summers. Right now, my focus has been for the winter, but person's got to be changing for all of our Canadian seasons. So that'll be the next area that gets improved upon.
So with all that done, when do you plan on doing your first real epic adventure?
Well, honestly, Daryl, even if I would have done nothing in there, it was capable of doing an epic adventure. I had planned to take this January, February, March off an unpaid leave from work. I had it approved almost a year in advance. And I withdrew it because of COVID, because I can't go anywhere and I'm not traveling Canada in the winter. If I'm going to take time off to travel Canada, I'm going to do it spring, summer, or fall.
Well, and as of Sunday, all international flights, like to Mexico and to all the nice warm places, have been stopped. And anybody coming in or that does go actually has to be quarantined, and they get charged $2,000 for their COVID test and hotel and all that stuff.
Yeah. See, my plan was to take the ambulance south.
Yeah.
So, and then I thought I was going to change things. The pandemic said, hey, Paula, it is not time to do this right now. But what I'm focusing on, instead of having a little pity party, is focusing on what are all the other things that I can do to get ready. Right? So, for example, the channel growth that I've had has been amazing, and the support that I have is amazing. And that's going to really make it a lot more fun when I do get to travel, because I have people now that'll watch when I have stuff to share it with them.
Mm-hmm. And you get the feedback, good or bad, but you get the feedback, which actually helps you grow the channel. It helps you understand things a little bit more as well.
Oh, look, you got a super chat from Prairie Life.
Well, thanks, Karen.
So nice, Karen. She's enjoying the interview.
Let me see. There she is. Yep. There we go. Where'd you go? There you go. So that leads me to what was I going to ask you now? So with the borders most likely being closed the rest of this year, what are your plans?
Well, if they continue to stay closed, I will. Okay, if borders open up and travel can happen again, I will request a leave again. But like you say, it may not this year. So then I'm going to take time off during the summer, and I'm going to do some travel in Canada. I still want to go to the very, east coast of the Atlantic provinces, but there's a lot tighter restrictions there. So I can't do that. But what I know is across the prairies even, there's a lot of places that I can go if I want to go a little more north, and it's so beautiful. And I really want to have that opportunity to share that with people. Right. I've been so focused before on sharing my experience instead of sharing the things I already have. right? It gives a person the opportunity to reflect on the things that we sometimes forget to be thankful for.
Well, I always look at the positive side of things. I mean, with COVID, we haven't been able to travel, but it's given us a chance to kind of travel within our own province or our own country, now
Mm-hmm.
kind of down to our own provinces. But something that we probably wouldn't have normally done, and discovering all these cool, neat, and unique places, which is absolutely amazing.
Well, my biggest inspiration for looking local has been Prairie Life, Karen. She's done some good stuff on hers, and I'm like, wow, I never thought to show any of those things. Like and people really respond to it, and I'm like, she really started opening my mind to what we have here. So thank you, Karen.
And I think with the pandemic, it has helped us to kind of reevaluate our lives and to look at different ways of doing things. And I agree totally with Anthony here. Um, it's made me look at things differently as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we're done with this whole COVID thing, it's going to help us to, I think, most of us have a better appreciation for what we have and for who we have in our lives.
Or an appreciation for the things we've been neglecting. Right? I mean, it's like Badge says too, with COVID, it makes you check out your own backyard. It's quite amazing. And, there's a bigger appreciation for the time that I get to spend with family. And like, there's so much more to appreciate, like Christmas, having all your family together at Christmas, or, getting to go out for coffee with someone, or like, there's so many things
The
that
simple things.
I'm going to appreciate so much more. I just hope that I remember to continue it. I think a lot of us at some point we forget again. So we need to come up with ways to remind ourselves of the blessings that we have.
I think sometimes before we would forget about the simple little things like birthday parties and just getting together and handshakes, hugs. Yeah. I've never been a huggy person. But I mean, I had a lady that her daughter and I were good friends, and I worked for her husband. She forced me to hug her every time. She was a big lady, but she always like, give me a hug. And I think that, it broke down some of those barriers. But yeah, it's the simple little things like that you don't realize that you miss until you don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then there's all the new blessings, like Badge put, he met my mom, and that was epic. Right? Like, it was so special to me to have Badge and Elle and my mom meet each other. And they just, like, Elle and my mom just clicked, and it was awesome. And it's like, it's just another thing to reaffirm that God blessed me with more wonderful people in my life.
And if it wasn't for COVID, we probably wouldn't have seen Badge shower scene. Just saying.
Right? Yeah, it's good.
But I think that, like, from just talking to other people, like with COVID, I mean, I've known people that, they last year in the summertime, their channel was sitting at like 40,000 people. And since that time to now, they've tripled their numbers because people had nothing.
Well, technically, so did I, but my numbers are itty bitty.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean, but like,
I know it's been a really good time because people are watching YouTube now.
Yeah.
And we're exploring the world through other people's eyes and appreciating the fact that we can do that.
No, exactly. I think it's important that, and just for everyone that's watching as well, I think it's important for all these people that are watching, because each one of these people ends up in one way or another becoming part of our families, and you get a deeper understanding for these people. You support these people, they support you, and it becomes this tight little family, which I think is really,
it really cool. Does.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it does. And I never expected that.
Yeah.
I never expected it. And it's just been amazing. And you know what? It was just what I needed. COVID or no COVID. I needed this. I needed these people.
And from all over. I mean, it's just truly amazing. I mean, some people like almost in your backyard that you get to know,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I just think it's really awesome, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
just really cool to meet people and for me even just to be friends with you.
Yeah, we've developed a friendship. It's awesome. And now I know if I go to BC, I'm going to spend time with my brother. I'm going to see you and Cayden and your wife. And like Ray has said in his live streams, Van Life Rocks has said, he knows when he travels, there's a lot of people in a lot of different places that he can stop in and say, hey, and hang out and do stuff. It's a gift all around. It really, truly is. My brother's so cute.
Obviously DJ needs to get out a little bit more.
You have to actually know how he talks for some of that to click with you. Like I know how he talks, how he emphasizes things and stuff. So, and I also know his sense of humor. That makes the biggest difference. That's why live streams are so much better than just texting. That's why I like it when people can come up on my live streams, because I get to see them and understand their words because of all the body language involved that we miss in messaging.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's so true. And I think like for you to be able to, I mean, I don't know what your relationship was with Badge before YouTube.
I didn't have one. We didn't know each other.
So there you go. There's a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
You can call Badge up, and Badge has become this person, whether you want to call it a father figure,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it
No,
might be.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But you can call him up for help, and he's there to help you.
And when
that's
they
what
build their
you do.
cottage in the trees, I'm gonna help them.
Yeah, I think.
Did you know about that? He's gonna be like, "Don't tell her when we're doing it."
But I think that's what makes it truly amazing, that this platform of YouTube has created all these different families throughout YouTube, and I think that's really neat to see with
Yeah.
all the differences. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important.
Well, you know what? We're a community across these channels that's quite accepting. That's the difference with this whole type of community. It's not so judgy. It's not so extreme. It's like, let
can be.
people be. Because, well, a lot of people within our streams,
Yeah.
very much easygoing. They just want to live their life. They want to do their own thing. And so I think they see it a lot different than some other people that always have to fight. I feel bad for those people because something is truly missing in their lives.
Well, exactly. There's a reason that they're not happy. There's a reason that they're putting negative comments. There's a reason that they're lashing out.
Yeah. They cannot
and
be happy if that's how they're acting.
No. And you got to look at that and go, you know what? That's not my problem. That's your problem. I'm moving past that. I'm doing what I'm good at, what I want to do, and that's how you move forward. You don't worry about the negative comments.
Yeah, sometimes so it could be feedback that was just really hard to hear, no matter how well they worded or not. Sometimes it's really hard to like go, oh, yeah, there might actually be a point in there, or maybe there was something that this person needs to hear. Maybe there is something that I could say or give them information on that could heal even the tiniest piece of their heart. I mean, maybe that's got to do with the type of job that I have and my life experiences, but I want to help people so much, and I do in my job, but there's so many ways that we can give gifts to others, and I feel like that's what makes my life great.
Oh, I agree. And I think one thing that kind of changed how I saw things was I had an ex-client that he just messed up the job by doing stuff himself. We came in and we'd have to double check the whole job because he would start taking stuff apart on this heritage home. And he stopped paying. So then he started the negative comments, and that really got to me.
Yeah. But you know where it's coming from and why.
It took me a while, though. It took me a while, though, to understand where he was coming from and why he was trying to make me look bad, because he didn't want to be that one. Because of his wife, he didn't want to make disappoint her. He didn't want to do these things. And finally, I just went, you know what? Whatever. I'm not going to play this game anymore.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know I've been lucky. everybody knows I've struggled with the first thumbs downs. And I know it's minimal, and I know it's just the law of averages, but there's still a piece of me that thinks I could have done something different. There will always be a part of all of us that's hard on ourselves. It's just, yeah, learning to, like you said, push past that and let it go. I can't help everyone.
But you also look at it, if someone gave you a thumbs down, well, they've also watched part of it, or they've done something, they've clicked on it. They've still added to your channel.
Yeah,
in
but
one way or another.
that's not what it's about for me. I mean, it's
No.
great. Don't get me wrong. I want my channel to grow. I want to be huge, other than my hip size, right? But I don't know. I love the connections and being real and getting feedback and hearing what people actually want me to do. Like winter camp would have never crossed my mind before. Yeah, it was a bit of a flop, but I will try it again.
But some of your worst things that happen to you and some of your biggest mistakes can be some of your best events, can be some of your best YouTube shows, can be some of your best, most epic episodes.
Epic success or epic failure, all or nothing, buddy.
But is there such a thing as failure?
Pardon?
Is there such a thing as failure?
Yeah, there is. There is. It's just a matter whether we can accept it because it's based on our own standards. But whatever, I'm not going to get into it.
Yes, I know.
Just because you failed at something once, it's like I says, first attempt in learning. So I didn't succeed the first time I tried, or maybe the second. But that doesn't mean I won't succeed at some point.
Yeah, but you learn from your mistakes too.
Yeah.
So your failure ends up becoming a learning lesson. So was it truly a failure?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sneaky. No, that's good. I like that. Very good. Very
Just saying. So you got your live here shortly.
Yeah.
If you some words of advice that you could give to other people in whatever they're doing, whether they're starting a channel, whether they're doing van life, whether they're out there adventuring, what are some things that you can pass on to some of these people?
Believe in yourself. And if you want it, you are the only one that's going to get it. So you have to do it. You have to find the action in the things that you want. Action is the key piece that so many people are missing. And, it's okay to fall. It's okay. You don't know what you can do until you try. So, and I've made mistakes and I've fixed mistakes and I've learned a ridiculous amount in the meantime. And I think the biggest thing with sharing the failures on my channel is that it shows, yeah, this can happen to someone. So maybe it'll help somebody learn something, but it also shows that I can fix it and that I didn't quit. And that means that if I can do it, they can do it too.
I guess it's kind of hard to do something epic when you're sitting on your couch as well.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that we can all learn is learn from each other, and not be scared to ask for somebody's advice as well.
That is a big thing, learning to ask Daryl. That is I'm working really hard on it. Asking for help is very hard, but I am learning to accept help. That's the first part. People have offered, just accept it. Feels uncomfortable. You're relieved, but it has this weird feeling for me. But I'm learning.
And I don't know, you've always got that myth, it's hard for males to ask for directions, because we're stubborn. Like if I get a manual to how to build something or whatever, it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do it myself. I don't know if that's a typical male brain or not, but I think that's where sometimes we need to step back and go, you know what, through YouTube, there's a big manual out there. There's a big group out there. There's a big audience out there that have gone through some of these things to lean on and to help us. Because
and tell you the stuff that the manual doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Especially if it's a crappy translation from China.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a whole nother story with your heater,
Yeah,
right?
we're not going there. This has been awesome. Thank you, Daryl, for this.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It's been fun, and I really appreciate you taking your
Hey,
time
Tosha.
to.
Tosha. Hello.
What is that?
She's so cute.
Oh, she sees herself on the other monitor. Oh, now you see yourself right there.
Well, I do feel honored that you asked me to come onto your live stream, and I do appreciate all the times you come in and contribute to the conversations on mine. So, and I'm thankful for the friendship that we've developed.
No, I think it's great. I mean, I'm honored to have you as a friend, and it's it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for meeting my little buddy. I can't wait to see him in person someday and give him a great big squishy mushy hug.
I'll do that. I really appreciate it. I'll let you drop down to your live to get ready for it.
All right. Thank you.
Chat here a bit more. Thanks, Paula.
Bye.
It was great having Paula on our show, and we look forward. We're going to hop over to her channel to see her live. But it's always a good thing when you get to know somebody a little bit more, and you realize that friendship that you've got and that understanding, and knowing that when you need something, you can call on somebody. And I think that's really great to have in this community. And you know what? You don't have to be a van lifer or a nomad in order to have these friendships. We're all doing YouTube, and I think that's the bigger picture here. I'm not a van lifer. My dad and mom traveled for many years in their motorhome. They sold their house, and before my mom passed, that's what they wanted to do. And they traveled all through Canada and the US. And I know what it's like, and I think it's really special. And for me, getting out and adventuring and seeing the world right now, Canada, right now, BC, with my son is something that's super special. And it's memories that are going to last a lifetime, not just for me, but for him. And I'm glad that we're able to share those with you. And I thank everybody that's here for following us and for subscribing and being part of our lives. It means a lot to us. And I want to give a special thanks out to Karen from Prairie Life for moderating tonight, Bree from TGIF, Ray from Van Life Rocks, Megan from Going Green Mom, as they moderated tonight. Thank you guys for helping out. I will have to go back and read everything because I missed a lot. And I'm going to leave this. We're going to leave out on our intro, and we really appreciate all of you. We're going over to live. If somebody can drop that link for Paula's, we will go over there and raid her. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.